It's Bobbbaaaay, and we back.
Welcome back to the Purpose in the Youth podcast. We are at the Revere Hotel in Boston, Massachusetts. Today on the show, we have the one, the only, Ben Foley. Ben, welcome.
Thanks for having me, man.
Dude, thank you for coming on to this. A little backstory, but Ben is from the 413, and I think anybody connects with the idea that they're from the same hometown. There's always a mutual connection. But what I have to say about Ben, if you guys don't know who Ben is and you're about to really get into this podcast, is Ben has done a lot of things in the last couple years of his life. And as we were talking about before this podcast, is he just never gave himself the idea of, well, if this doesn't work, then what's the next option? It's kind of always been, this is going to work, and if it doesn't, we're going to readjust and kind of keep going. So to get it going, who is Ben Foley today, and how young is he?
Ben Foley's now Foley, and he's 21.
Okay.
You know, I live in California. Lived in New York for a little bit after leaving Massachusetts. Just, continue to grow and change every day.
Yeah. Moving along.
Every day.
So before we get into any of the New York, the LA, the crazy lifestyle, take me back to the young Foley. We're not going to reference Ben. We're going to go to young Foley. Describe the 10-year-old Foley.
10-year-old Foley, that's actually a really interesting age. It was the year before I dropped out of middle school.
The year before?
I dropped out of school when I was 11, halfway through 6th grade. It's a dropout, but my parents, told the school and told the government that they were taking me out to homeschool me, but not very much homeschooling actually happened.
How did you make this happen, and why were they behind you?
School just wasn't my thing. I think they, on a deeper note, it was like they didn't think I was like a happy child. They just thought I was like a depressed kid that didn't enjoy school, didn't enjoy anything. It like fucked up my whole vibe. Like to this day, I can't like sit down and like behind a desk. I'll never be able to work a desk job. It's hard for me to like work in environments that aren't like my comfort zone. Like I need to be alone. I have a whole like creative thing now. Like, and I learned that like this is like how I become the most productive and get the best shit done. But before that, I was 10 years old in school and miserable. Like I was sent to the principal's office every single day, suspended all the time, like acting out for no reason. Just had like the mouth of a sailor, which I still do now at like fucking 10. But
it's all right.
I was like, stubbing my toe or something on the fucking playground and like yelling fuck, and then getting suspended for 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
You can't be saying that at that age, I don't think.
Right. I was.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did, because I wouldn't be here.
What was it
otherwise.
about it? You just weren't into the system. Like
I
you
don't
didn't
know,
enjoy
man.
it, or
Yeah, to this day I can't be forced to create something I'm not passionate about. Like it's the driving force is passion for me. Like I'm not going to be able to execute something on the level I want to execute it on unless I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
And like I turned down like real like money and business, like good connections, because I know that I won't deliver on, like, they hire me for a certain quality, and I know that I won't be able to deliver that unless I'm passionate about a project.
Yeah.
So I think it just like stems back to that in school. Like I didn't give a fuck about French, and I didn't, I didn't care about any of the shit they were teaching me. Like none of it seemed applicable to like where my head was at.
Yeah.
And who knows where my head was at when I was 10, but it wasn't there, and I couldn't be more thankful.
It's amazing that your parents were actually supportive of you dropping out and backing you on that, because I feel as if a lot of parents were in that situation. They'd be like, no, you're going to a different school, or you're grounded, or...
Yeah, the plan was to just like pull me out of school for the rest of the year and then put me in a different school for 7th grade. And I just never, like in that 6 months or whatever it was, like they got me a Macintosh laptop. Like I fucking dove in every day. I learned everything from Photoshop to GarageBand, iMovie, like any creative like application that you could have on a MacBook. I wanted to learn it, to be like, I didn't want to be great on any of them, because at the time I didn't like know what I wanted to do. I still unsure about the end goal other than retiring. But like, that was a big part of it. It was like, okay, so I'm gonna go, I have all of the free time in the world. I have this one tool. a fucking laptop. It has the internet. Like I have access to all the information I want. Anything I want to learn, I can type into YouTube and
Yeah, it's amazing.
learn. Yeah,
You can learn anything on YouTube.
bro. I taught myself everything. Like I've had people along the way that have shown me little tricks and stuff, but like all the groundwork, everything. Like I was late nights and early mornings of me like having free time and just being like, okay, cool. I like this. I like what I'm able to create here. I like the way this makes me feel. Like music production gives me a whole different feeling than like graphic design. I like graphic design more, but it doesn't give me the same feeling that like music production gives me. It's like music production is like more like a therapy thing, and like graphic is a work. Like
Yeah.
I'm good at it. Like I don't care if anyone ever hears the music I make, because it's not like me singing or rapping or anything. It's just sounds, and I have no musical background. It's all based off like feeling. Like everything I make is because it makes me feel a certain way.
Yeah.
Like
I think that's important.
People
Yeah, it's important.
That's
You're making
art.
that's exactly what art is. You are making what you feel, and whether people are hearing it or seeing it, it doesn't matter. It's allowing you to, I guess, essentially put the way you feel about something into actual form or into something you can hear, or, but it is art at the end of the day.
Yeah, I didn't really like. Man, this whole time I never really understood what I was doing or why I was doing it. I just knew I had to do it, and it worked.
Yeah.
And some shit didn't work, but everything was a lesson, and there was no losses. It was all lessons.
And I think that's just perspective too. At the end of the day, if you can get yourself to realize that nothing really is a loss, and you learn a lot more from certain situations than if it had gone the way you wanted to go,
Yeah.
then you're able to walk away with something that's going to eventually pay back and kind of come back around and be like, oh, you know what, this happened before, so we're going to approach it like this.
100%.
So we speed up. We get into actually starting to get things going. You were under the name Swagger Not Ben, right? That was the old
Wow.
back. We're going to take it back.
You know, right before we started this, you were like, I don't like to edit this, but like if you say something that like we got to take out, we'll take it out.
Okay.
Swagger Not might be the fucking thing we gotta take out.
No. Not many people probably
No.
not many people probably know about it. But
No,
it's
and if
part
you
of the
do,
it's
I
part of the
love you.
journey. It's
Like-
part of the journey.
100%. A lot of regrets.
Trust the process.
A lot
Trust
of
the
regrets,
process.
but I fucking trust the process. Shout out Joel Embiid. It's my guy.
Take me back to that. How did things kind of get going for you? Oh, don't want to be spilling anything out. Oh.
Major
Little foul,
fouls.
little foul.
Marty, major party fouls on this side.
No, we're good. We're good.
Don't move.
We're still moving, baby.
My apologies.
Act on the fly.
It's live. All right, cool. What were we talking about?
Take me back to those days. What were some of the big projects that you were kind of getting involved in?
I started. What was I doing with Swagger Not? Swagger Not, I think, was just photo and video.
The things that kind of popped into my head when I was doing, at least trying to get this ready, is, you know, you were doing events with Lace Boston. You were working with a little bit with Kid Ink, it looked like, starting to get
Yeah.
into, like, Huey Mack, Mike Stud.
Yeah, it was definitely like the early phase of my career, and like I wasn't sure what I was doing. I wasn't sure what Swagger Not Productions was gonna be. I just knew that like at the time I had already worked with Mac Miller. I had worked with like Chris Webby, J. Cole. Like there was a handful of like artists that was like dope, and like at the time, this is 2011. These people are like just coming up or like super hot at the moment, and I was like, okay, like I'm not really sure how to do this, how to make money doing this, but I like it.
Yeah.
And like I knew it wasn't like the end goal, but I knew I liked being around those people, and like knew that if I performed, and I was good at photography and video. I wasn't great, like there's a reason I don't do it anymore. It was fun, like but it was a networking tool, and
Yeah.
photography is still like a hobby of mine, but like I turn down shoots all like daily. It's just not something like I want to put my that's something I want to do for fun, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like at the time, it was what was putting me in rooms with people, and I was fucking doing anything to be in the rooms with those people. I was paying out of pocket to fucking travel. I was like everything. Like no one was paying me at the beginning. No, like it took years, and it would be like a couple small checks here and there, but like it was just like all a networking tool. Make sure to like, and I still have great relationships to this day. Like Mod's son was one of the first people I ever worked with, one of the first people I toured with. To this day, I have a great relationship with him. He's teed me up with like his merch people, and like we now do $500,000 business a year, and like just good shit. Like it all stems from like friendships and like being put in the right room at the right time, and
I think it's hard at first because we all just, everybody instinct wants money, wants to make money, and thinks that it's just gonna happen when it takes time. Like you said, like those relationships are priceless. You don't understand how or what it's benefiting you today, but if there's that genuine build, then maybe someday that you guys can both make money together. But I think it's hard for a lot of people, including myself. We just want to, get to that point where we're making money off of doing something we love, but understanding that it does like actually take time.
I firmly believe in any situation you have to pay it forward. It's why if you work for any Fortune 500 company, there's an internship period. It's like everyone expects you to show, you need to show what your dedication, passion levels are, and like how you fit into the company. Because you could be good, you can be passionate, you can be like great at your job, but you might not fit into the mix for that company. Like you gotta vet your employees. You gotta vet the people that you bring into your circle. It's the same thing for musicians. Like it's why people, like there's roadies. We have people that start off. Everyone starts off unpaid, and now there's people on payroll. You know what I mean? Like it all translates. You have to put the time in.
Yeah.
Like you have to show people you're willing to do more for them than you are for yourself, and that's why big businesses are big. It's because fucking people overperform. They don't reap 100% of the benefits, but they still work their fucking asses off, and that's why a company's successful. It's why any major thing is successful. It's the supporting cast.
When you started putting yourself into these rooms, I know we kind of talked about it earlier. What was key? Because you start getting into rooms with people that you want to. That does build people, right?
Yo,
that does
I'm
connect.
telling you
that
right
does
now,
connect people.
Weed is the #1 networking tool in this industry by far. If you have good weed and you're willing to smoke people up for free, right? Comes back to the paying shit forward. You got gas on you and you're smoking people up left and right.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers are gonna want you around more.
Yeah.
Like it's facts. Like it's how like you go back and watch like early Mod Son interviews. He talks about his Warped Tour days, and he was going around and giving out like weed to like Schoolboy Q and Mac in fucking like his tie-dye hoodies, and he was stuffing an ounce in the pouch and like hand it or sell it to people. I don't know what he was doing, but like that's now everyone, see Mac Miller on his TV show a couple years later wearing the tie-dye hoodie. Like same shit. It's all, I'm telling you, everyone likes good weed.
You know what? I don't even smoke like that, but I'm gonna start carrying some just to like pass out. It's like goodie bags, like little goodie bags. Like,
do you know who Shep Gordon is?
I know the name.
Everyone needs to go do research on Shep Gordon. He's the #1 person in the world. He's like by far the most creative, innovative, and successful people to come into this industry and not be an artist. He invented the celebrity chef. Like all the Food Network shit, every single show, it's all because of him. Like he managed
His first artist was like Jimi Hendrix.
He was selling basically he moved to California, was selling drugs to Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, bunch of other people, and then he was making so much money that he was like, yo, like what should I do if cops come around and like ask me why I have all this cash? And they're like, you're Jewish, you should tell them you're a manager. And then they fucking introduce him to Alice Cooper, and to this day he still manages Alice Cooper.
They're best friends.
Like this whole crazy shit, and it all started because of drugs. It was just like here, like it was
just built.
But he's everyone. The name of the movie, you can go watch it on Netflix. It's called Supermensch.
Supermensch.
That's what everyone calls him. Like, do you know what a mensch means?
No.
It's Jewish. It's Yiddish. I don't remember the exact definition, but it's like someone that is just so pure and good, and no one can say anything bad about him. And that's him. And you think about it. He started off as a drug dealer. Like you listen to all these stories of like him like writing checks that he knows were gonna bounce at hotels when they were on tour. And then, but like, But when he had the money, he went back and paid
You're
the
lying.
hotel. I swear to God.
He actually went back and paid them.
Dude, I'm telling you, he's my favorite person on this planet. And right now, he has like this crazy place in Maui, and just like doesn't leave. Everyone comes there. It's like if you're like a celebrity and you're going through some shit and you just want to get away, you go to Shep's house.
Wow.
Like I got people who have stories that like Oprah lives next door, and like they'll be out there and like barbecuing, and Oprah will just bop over. Like
no big deal.
right,
Just
no-
over, like,
no big
dropping
deal.
in, hey, what's up, Shep?
Right. And like everyone has to go watch it. It's my favorite story ever. It's inspiring no matter what you want to do. Like he's a great person. Everyone should aspire to be half the person that he is.
Yeah.
Like, and you'll be successful.
I'm
for
probably
real.
gonna have to watch that like tonight now.
Bro,
you got me inspired.
It's like my favorite movie. I've seen it at least 10 times on my own, and I probably showed it to another 10 people.
The
So like,
teddy bar
Is he paying you to be like passing this?
no, I wish I knew him. I'm going to Hawaii. I've been to Maui before. I spent the whole week there, and like my head was on a
Looking for
swivel.
Shep.
Like
Shep.
Where
Shep.
is he?
everywhere, bro. That's my favorite person. But like, him and Richard Branson are like the two people I want to like bump into.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll bump into him at the same time. That'd be pretty dope.
I'm actually going to the British Virgin Islands for Thanksgiving,
Oh,
and I'm staying at like a yacht club.
Mhm.
It's not that fancy. It sounds fancy. It's
Sounds a little bougie.
you can look
but
it up.
It's actually nice.
It's the Bitter End Yacht Club. It's like it's cool, but it's not bougie at all.
Yeah.
I don't have a yacht. Won't be near a yacht. But so Richard Branson's island is directly across. Like you could swim to it if you wanted to. And he like always bops over for lunch because there's restaurants on like at the yacht club.
Mhm.
And he has his own island. He doesn't really have restaurants. He's got personal
Yeah,
cooks and shit.
They come to him.
Right.
He doesn't go to
But
them.
you know, when he wants to get out, he goes there because it's the fucking close as shit. So I'm fucking so hyped for that.
You
I'm
might
just-
bump into him.
I'm gonna try my
You're gonna
best.
be sitting on like the shore, just like looking for this guy, not even caring about like Thanksgiving and being around the family. He's just gonna be like, "Yo, where is he? Where is he?" Take me to New York days. Why did you originally move to New York City in the first place? Clearly, that's a big city, a lot of opportunity. I'm sure there's plenty of things coming in your way that maybe made sense to try. Why New York City?
Yeah. So my grandparents actually have a place in New York, and have lived there for probably like the last 20 years. And I was super lucky, and they were just like offered that I could come stay at their place, like, and it would be for like, they leave and go to Florida. They're like those people.
They just dip.
They go to
Gets
Florida
a
when it
little bit
gets
of
cold.
and
Yeah.
they're out.
No, like literally like the first of the year, they'd go.
They're out.
They'll go. And they don't come back till April. So like when they're around, like they would say I could come for like a week and shit, and like I would stay and I don't have to go back for a week, and like I would always
Let
I would
it
say
calm
that I was
down.
doing more than I was.
Mhm.
Like I would like tell them that I was going and working. Like I would have so many gigs just so they would like let me come and stay so I could like go out and network and shit. Like
Yep.
just so they would let me stay there longer. I was like making up shit. And whenever they were in, oh, I hope they don't see this. It's okay. I'm pretty sure they know. I think they just let it rock because they knew what I was doing. I would go and I would tell them, hey, like I'm going. I would know that they weren't going to be there from, January 1 to April 31st. So I'd be like, hey, I'm gonna go down for a weekend or a couple. I would be like super vague about it. I'd be like, hey, I'm going down for a couple days. Like, is that okay? I've got a couple shoots and stuff. Like, and they're like, yeah, of course. And then I just would go and I would stay for like months. Like I just didn't leave, man. Like it was my place in the city, and like I'm 16, 15 at the time.
Wow.
Just like it was fun. Like I owe them a couple apologies. But that'll happen if they see this video.
Hopefully they don't.
Hopefully they do.
No.
That's the wrong energy
No.
for your podcast. You want my grandparents to see this.
I didn't want to say it, but I actually do kind of want them to say it. So they call you up and say, excuse me, what was going on in New York City when you said you weren't actually there? That's you know what? Honestly, though, looking back, that was a great way to start getting into that world. Like, just having a place to crash. Because that's an expensive-ass city to live. I mean, and you're coming from Western Mass, take a bus down or take a train down and then have to, try to fork over probably a couple $100 just to stay a night at some place. Like, that's huge.
It wouldn't have happened. It literally, none of it would have happened if they hadn't let me go stay there.
Yeah.
And I hadn't finessed it enough. You know what I mean? And yeah, it just, like, man, I spent 4 years there. Like, I felt like I really established myself there in the 4 years that I did, like on like a low level. Like, I was 2 degrees from anyone I wanted to like work with. Like, it was, I had to pull a couple strings if I like want, but I was doing way better than I should have been doing, and like,
Why or how?
because I was doing photography, and like that was still at the stage where, like, I wasn't that good. Like, I'm not that good of a photographer, or a videographer. I was good enough, but like, the people I was shooting, like the rooms I was in, like people that kept calling me to come back and do shit, like there's no reason for them to do that other than like a personal connection. Like, they had to fuck with me more than just the work. They had to have, like, because the work wasn't that good. And it worked though.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like half the time it's just the product has to obviously have some expectation, but at the end of the day, it comes down on the person they're building with, the person they're working with, who's taking the photos, who's doing the designs,
yeah,
who has the vision.
It's like it has to be the perfect balance. You have to. I don't think there's like someone that's like split 50-50. I think it's like your work's either like really, really good and people like put up with you as a person to an extent, or your work is people put up with your work and people really fuck with you.
Yeah.
Like, very rarely will you find someone that's just like, well, you won't, because they won't be successful. You'll never find someone that's mediocre at what they want to be doing and is a mediocre personality. You won't see them in the room. You have to have one or the other, and then the other one has to grow. Like, as you grow and as your business grows and whatever you're trying to do grows, you have to elevate. If you know what your strong suit is, you have to focus on. I knew that my strong suit was the personality thing. Because I knew that I wasn't that good at photography. There was times where I was embarrassed to send shit over, and it was like, I didn't want to ruin the relationships, and I knew that it could be more than it was, and I burned a few bridges because I was like, there was times where I just didn't want to send them the shit. Like,
you didn't feel confident enough in what you were presenting.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what it was. I just didn't. I knew that like what I brought to the table was so much better than that, and I didn't even want them to see that kind of quality could be associated with me. So I would rather take the L and be like, yo, like, the hard drive broke, or like there was an error or something. I would much rather, like, and that has happened, like that, that's why those
lost
excuses.
Lost the SD card. I don't know what happened, dude. There was a tsunami that just came through New York.
No, but I mean, I've had SD cards snap. Like, literally, I've had them be in
the port
in the
and
shit,
actually, yeah.
and like someone like put something down, like a cup down, and it just fucking snaps. It's
Don't be bringing my mics, man. Don't be bringing my mics.
I've just had. Yeah.
No, finish. I don't want. I know you.
I've had like real technical issues, like plenty of time. Everyone does, but there has been the times where I was like, I didn't feel comfortable enough. I just didn't want to like ruin the relationships I had. It was much easier for me to be like, yo, this happened. Like, it's only happened like 3-4 times where it's been like, sometimes been like, yo, it's not good enough. But like, I had management at one point in New York, and they hired me to do some shit, and I was just like, nah, you're not getting this. Like, I don't know, like, there was either like something like dust in the camera or something. Like, who knows what? I don't remember what the exact thing was, but man, like 95% of the shoot was just like,
it wasn't there.
It's
just part. It's part of the journey, just learning along the way. Take a couple L's.
And I went and focused on the shit that I like wanted to be good at, like and shit I had passions for. Like, I wasn't that passionate about photography. It's just like what people knew me for and what got me in the room. I was always designing shit. Like, always. Like, I was doing Mike's shit for a minute. I was doing graphics for everyone, but it was like that wasn't what people knew me as. So I had to like literally be like, okay, I'm not doing photography anymore.
I'm out.
Y'all, I'm done. Like y'all gotta like see me for what I'm actually like good at and focusing on, and like want to be doing. That's what it's all about. If you're not doing what you want to be doing, like you're not gonna be happy. I'm in this to be happy.
Yeah.
The end goal is
I mean,
fucking.
the end goal for all of us is to be happy, but it's to find that niche that gets
Right.
us to wake up every morning and feel like we found something.
For
that
sure.
fire burning under your ass, like get out of bed, go make this amazing piece, or go out and train to become the next LeBron James, or
That's where like my I talked about passion earlier and like passion projects. Like that's why I need that. Like I need that's my fuel. That's what gets me up. Like I have to be passionate about something. I can't like fake create. It doesn't work for me. Like I said, like the quality of work. Like
Yeah.
if I'm not comfortable presenting something, like I just have to remove myself from the situation. Like so, just going right back to that.
what would you say? So you walked and spent 4 years in New York City.
Mm.
How much or what specifically changed about the Foley that walked in there to the Foley that left?
I had a beard.
You had a beard. Thank you.
Beard gang.
Ride or die, baby.
I actually have a hilarious story about my beard.
Let's hear it.
I was on tour with Waka Flocka when I was 16.
Oh my god.
Yeah, 16. This was a New York thing. Bro, crazy story. Chris Webby's merch guy, who I talked about, was one of the first artists I ever shot, became, like, smoked weed with Chris Webby's merch guy. He then was on tour with Waka. One of their second stop of the tour was New York. I happened to be there. He saw that I was going to be there on Facebook because we became friends on Facebook after smoking a J together.
Of course.
Was like, yo, I'm on tour with Waka. Saw you're in New York. Do you want to come through and shoot photos? I'm like, yeah, of course. So I come. I think it was video. It was video. And I show up, and because I wasn't even doing photos at this point. It was just video. Because Waka's the reason I did photos. He goes, yo, like, here's your press pass, but they just told us it's some sort of like union law. We can't do video tonight. Without, like, we would have to pay extra to have a union worker there to oversee it.
Jeez.
If you ever deal with Webster Hall. No, not Webster Hall. Irving Plaza. Yes.
Oh, it's a big venue. It makes I mean, I guess
Yeah.
it makes
No,
sense.
it's
It's official.
It's official, and they want to make all the money they can, and they know some people can do that. So I get there, and they're like, no video. And I'm like, well, I got a DSLR. It takes pictures. Like, I'm here. Can I take pictures? And they're like, yes. So, like, first time ever, like, other than, like, fucking around with my photo, like, my house, like, my camera at my house. Never had taken live concert photos before. Like, nothing. Just up there fucking shooting Waka. And afterwards, I'm taking pictures of his meet and greet, like, behind the scenes shit, just, like, chilling. And he turns over to me and goes, how much do you want to go on tour? And I'm standing next to the merch guy and his manager, who, like, he had introduced me to, and he, like, went back. He was still in his doing a meet and greet, so he, like, turns back and, like, meets the next fan after saying that to me. And I go to his manager. I'm like, was he serious? He's like, yeah, we need another guy. I left 2 days later.
Wow.
Like, I was crashing at my grandparents'. So all I had was a suitcase. I had, like, a small suitcase with, like, all of my shit. And I couldn't leave any of it behind. Like, I didn't know how long I was going to be gone on tour with Waka. So, like, that packed that one suitcase and just brought it on tour.
You just went for it.
Just
That's
went.
talk about living in the moment and just saying, like, this is an opportunity I need to jump on. Like,
Yeah, I called my parents and I was like, hey, I just got an opportunity to go on tour with Waka Flocka. And they're like, who? And I
Who's
was
Waka
like,
Flocka?
Sent him a link. And of course, like, my mom's like, what are all these, like, gang members doing in his videos? And my mom's like the coolest person in the world. She doesn't actually care. But, like, you know, I'm 16 years old and
it's a big.
right, like, oh my god, I would never.
Any parent is gonna question that.
Okay, so I was the only white person on the bus of a bus of 16.
16.
16. There was, like, far too many guns, far too many felons. Like, I have, like, a track record at the Canadian border because of it. Like, there's like,
Oh
man, there's like shit. But like, it was always all good. I got a conversation about when it's not all good. We'll talk about after this.
We'll talk about it after this.
But yeah, yeah, I can't do this.
Waka Flocka, man.
Waka Flocka at 16, only white kid. I was actually, so he like brought us on, and it was one of those tour buses where like it had all the. Have you ever been on a tour bus?
Yeah.
So like, there's like the rows of shit. So like, I think there was 12 bunks, and then there was like a back room where.
Like an extra, like, was it just a room, a bed?
It was like a back room, but it was like one of those where, you know how they're all different? It was just like one bench that went like from here to there,
okay,
and then along the back.
So people
so
were
it was
just
like
sleeping.
three.
So
it was
people
like,
were sleeping on it.
It was
yeah.
three.
Yeah.
And then
Pack
me.
the homies, bring
and then
more
me,
homies.
I had the front bench, like in the very, very front. Bro, I'm 16, the newest addition to the tour, like the only white kid, young as fuck, like first touring experience. All these dudes had a field day with me. Like, pause. Like, so I was in the main area. Like, I was in, like, you walk on the bus, and I'm
You're
right there.
right there. That's
and, like, where the bathroom is. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you're
the
there.
main
You're
area.
in it.
So, like, if I am there with the first person to wake up and the last person to go to sleep. And, bro, if I'm, like, dozing off, I can't tell you how many times I got, like, packets of hot sauce in my mouth. Like... fucking like just like shit on my face, like I had like salami on my eye, like not pause, wow. like cut, like deli.
Wait.
Yeah. Fuck, man. Okay, that's what we cut out.
You walked down that path. None of us did. Oh my god.
All right, that's what we cut out.
To say the least, it was a trip.
It was a trip, but I learned a lot. Definitely was able to like take getting fucked with. I was a kid that I was fat and like didn't want to be in school. Like I dealt with bullying, so like I did like as a 15-year-old kid like trying to like make it. I was soft. You know what I mean? I like if people like talk shit about me, I didn't want to hear it. Like it upset me. Yeah. But like when people like, because I wasn't, I was fucking pulled out of school at 11 years old. Like I didn't deal with like
That's
high school.
So crazy.
Right? So like all the high school shit, like all that like dynamic of like, I just don't have it. So like that being on tour and like dealing with like that shit, like it completely checked me.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my god,
you're years ahead of what I was at that age, bro. Years ahead.
Right. So I mean, it was just like it turned me from like being I think it was like on tour for a month.
You were ready to get off.
I went from being 16 to like 25.
Yeah.
Like
that'll mature you real quick.
In a second. Well, so that was we got here because of the beard thing, which is hilarious. I'm so glad we got here.
I'm so happy to be here. So
it's fucking nice out.
He's like in his mind going, why did I accept to do this podcast?
No, I love this. This is
so when the cameras aren't rolling.
No, so the beard thing.
Yes.
Okay,
Go ahead.
So I'm on tour with Waka and
Brig Squad.
And like I have a shaver. I'm like shaving, and like a week in it breaks. Like it was like an old one. You know what I mean? I wasn't prepared to go on the road. I didn't buy like new razors, so it was like I gotta go. I like asked him like, I'd never been on tour. I was like, yo, can we like stop at like some like, can we stop somewhere for like me to buy razors?
Keep the buzz going.
And he was like, just grow it out. Since that day, I've had a beard.
Just from that?
Just
grow it.
You just grow it out. Bro, I'm 16 years old. Waka tells you to fucking grow a beard.
You're growing a beard.
I'm growing a fucking beard. And oh my God, there was some years where I shouldn't have had a beard.
Oh, man.
Like that day to like 2 years later, no one should have let me attempt to grow facial hair.
Was it a thin chin strap? I went through that phase too.
But not intentionally. My hair just didn't grow on my cheeks. Like all it came in was like.
Just real thin.
Real thin. There's pictures on the internet, man. I've had an Instagram since fucking like 2011. Like, there's 6,000 pictures
that it's
there.
Still there. You don't even care. You're not even gonna delete it. Just like, this is part of me. I'm not gonna like try to be any different.
I've been doing the same shit. Like, if you're watching me, like, people have been like, I mean, not to sound like a dick, but like, there's people that have paid attention since I was that age.
Absolutely.
So like, why? I'm not gonna try and hide it. Like, you know.
You are who you are.
Right.
Like everything.
There's definitely some embarrassing photos and like regretful hashtags and like filters and shit. But like,
The hashtag is always good.
you know, man. Remember when there was borders?
Wow.
Yeah, you had the option to put a border on your photo.
Wow. Man, a lot has changed.
Fucking
A lot has changed.
A lot has changed. It's a multi-billion-dollar company now.
They're definitely happy with the money that they're making.
Yeah.
When the cameras aren't rolling, you guys aren't touring across the country, what have you learned from working with Mike?
Work ethic.
Yeah.
He's just like no days off, ever. Like, works 24/7, is up all nights. Like, we'll spend he works best at night. We're kind of on opposite schedules, and I moved out. Actually, I got my own place, and like, I became 10 times more productive because
You're not in the party house anymore. What do you mean?
It wasn't even that. It was just like, because I loved, we still all party and stuff, but it's, Mike likes to work at night. Like, he doesn't make music during the day. He like works out during the day, eats, enjoys himself. He's a normal human being. And then at night, he's a fucking animal and goes into the studio and will crank out 4 songs in a night. Or like, you know,
Just when he
every
operates.
night. But you know, now he has it in his house, and like, that's all he does. Like, that's who he is. Every day, it's the same shit. Like, no days off.
Yeah.
And I'm the complete opposite. I wake up at 7 o'clock every morning and have most of my shit done by 3.
Wow.
And I'm like, most of my shit's done by. I have a pretty like loose. I make my own schedule. Like,
You like set goals the night before of what needs to get done the next day? Or
No.
you kind of just wake up and just
I
like
haven't-
think of what you need to do and just do it?
I don't set any like. I mean, I have deadlines on certain projects and shit, but like, no, because it all comes down to me being like happy with the final product.
Yeah.
And like, it took me. You ever seen The Gap by Ira Glass? I'm not.
And I'm gonna have like a
Dude.
list of things to do after this podcast.
Yes.
I got
Okay,
some homework
so
to do.
Ira Glass is like a legendary radio host. Like, you should look him up. He's
Okay,
like one of
now.
the best interviewers of all time. But he talks about like the process of success and getting to where he wants to be, and it's called The Gap. And someone like did like crazy like senior project and turned it into a video and like put all these crazy. You can look it up. It's on Vimeo.
Okay.
Ira Glass, The Gap.
The Gap.
It's basically just like every creative person goes through a phase where the work that they're doing isn't quite as good as they want it to be. It's just not quite there yet. And like, the most important thing you can do is just keep doing the work. Like, set goals for yourself. Do it. Like, it's all about the 10,000 hours. It's like, it's the same thing. It's repetition, and like, you're only going to get better by doing the work. Like,
Just doing it.
that's it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't get better by not doing it.
Yeah.
So you just have to like, people like get to a point where they quit. But it's like, why? If that's what you want to do, and that's like, if you're just if you know that you're not as good as you could be at something, then fucking do it 1,000 times. You're gonna be better the 1,000th time than the first time.
Yeah.
Like,
When I listen to my first episode to like the 30th, there's a completely different personality. Yeah. Hey guys, this is the purpose. You build anything you're trying to do. You just have to start and just keep going and not stop, and you will get better. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no, I'm just gonna stay at this one point. If you do the research, you use the YouTube.
it's universal. Like, everyone says, like, the key to success is doing it. It's putting the time in. It's doing it again and again and again. It's like you read Malcolm Gladwell's shit.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Like, it's all about putting the right energy out. Like it comes down to treating people how you want to be treated. Like, that's something I struggle with, like, all the time. But like, I'm working on it, and like, one day that's gonna be a big tool. Like, you look at Pharrell, you look at fucking all these people, the biggest, and they're so humble. They work with anyone. They have no egos.
Yeah.
And they constantly thrive and are fucking happy. Look how young that guy looks. That guy's got 0 fucks.
I know.
Like,
I know.
dude, his biggest fuck is like his hat, and that's over with. Like, guy's got no cares. He's been with the same girl like forever. You go look her up. She's a normal ass chick, like beautiful, like, but they're happy. He doesn't like. He extends himself in all the play. Like, he enjoys fashion and all that shit. He spends money where he wants to spend it, but he also does business in those things and like makes it back. You know, I'm sure he makes fucking 100 times more than he spends.
I'm sure he does.
Doing that shit.
Yeah. I read an article a couple months ago about just like his schedule and the way he operates, and it makes sense.
He's a fucking superstar.
He's a workhorse, and he has it figured out.
But that's every person that's successful there's a reason people call them sharks. Sharks fucking, you can't stop. Like, if sharks, sharks don't sleep. They can't stop moving if they don't die.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You're dropping gems on this one. You're dropping gems. So, it seems, because you went through all, obviously trying to figure out like who you are, branding wise, and just what you're
still am,
and still are. But I think you've gotten rein on by Foley, this branding of.
Well, yeah. That came about because I transitioned from Swagger Not Ben to, because I hated it. I had someone that suggested it to me, and I didn't know what Swagger Not. I didn't get it at the time. I thought it was when Swag was really cool. I was fucking 15.
Yeah.
And like, bro, if you look the idea was, it was a play off of a juggernaut. My friend made it up, and if you look at all the branding, it was all astronaut shit in space. Like, I didn't put two and two together. It was the worst branding of all time. Like, lesson fucking learned. But
it happens, man.
It happens. So I transitioned into Shot by Foley.
Yep.
Because I was doing video and photo, and then the idea was like, when I was like, okay, I'm not gonna be the photographer anymore. That's not like what you're gonna see me as. It was drop the shot. Everything's by Foley. Like, it could be literally fucking anything is by me. It seemed like the most simple branding, and it just so happens that B and F are my initials, so all the logos make sense.
I didn't think of that too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah, and my favorite thing about the logo is it's a square. It's a perfect square. Not a lot of people see it for some reason, but all the dots is a square. But like it's not connected. So like, the point was like you're breaking out of the box was the analogy behind the logo. But yeah,
it took some time to get to that.
Oh, it took years. I'm still figuring it out, man. Like, it'll never stop developing. That's the point. Like, that's why you keep doing it. Like, you're always going to get better. Like, if you fucking stop, there's no point. Like, I'd still enjoy it. Like, I stopped doing video because I didn't want to be good at it. Like, I didn't enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like, if I wanted to be, I could have put the work in, and I could have done shit with it. But that I did enough to put me where I wanted to be, to do the shit that I actually wanted to do.
That right there is how the game of life works. Like, you have to do a lot of things that you don't want to do to finally get to where you want to be doing.
It's the internship phase.
Yeah. That's truthful. Talk to me about ChaCha The Wave. It's a project you started recently with Ryan, OVO Ryan. What inspired you guys to create this?
Well, Ryan came to me and was like, hey, I have this idea. I want to do a line. It's called ChaCha. That was it.
That's all he said.
That was it.
Let's do it.
Like, at the time, him and Johnny Manziel have this house in the hills. It used to be the Weeknd's house. It's like this. It's one of the cooler houses I've ever been to. Unfortunately, they no longer live there. Well, right. We'll go on. We're there. It's like he was basically like, I want designs. Like, I want you to like come on and like be the design aspect. He didn't really know he had no idea what he wanted to do for like any of it. Like, he had no idea like any of the branding. He just knew he loves clothes and like he's good at it, and he's got a lot of connections, and like his ideas are good. It was just like it was the right partnership. Like, I brought everything to the table that he needed for it to be what it is now and it's going to be. And it's good. Like, I came up with like the whole concept. I put together a couple logos and like different like brand identities behind each logo, and like the one that we actually went with was my final one. I put together like 4, and it was the final one that I created. And like the second I did it, I knew that it was going to be
That was the one.
Like, yeah. And when I showed it to him, I was like, like, all the other ideas were good, but I was downplaying the shit out of them. I was like,
this one's all right. We got this one looks kind of.
And then I got to the final one, and I was like, yeah. I was like, this is the one. And I like broke it down. It was like, about top season, like the OVO, the regime.
What is the story behind that?
You
don't
don't have to know it.
Just Google it.
Google it. But that was Ryan. Ryan was a big part of that, and their whole thing behind that was, what's top season? It's the almighty regime. What's the almighty regime? It's top season. So what's ChaCha? It's the wave. What's the wave? It's ChaCha. It played right back into it. The logo is a wave. It's all beach themed shit. We're making like, I don't know, I can't wait for people to see this shit. We're doing like all this, everything that you guys saw, like everything that people saw before was just so like people understood like the name and the branding.
Got a taste of what is about to come out.
It was just about like getting people familiar with the name and having people see the logo and like just familiarize it with the blue and like just the overall beach vibe. The next shit's all cut and sew on like just like the craziest wave. It's all like luxury, like shit you're gonna want to travel in, wear on vacation. Like we found like a huge void in like what people wear to the beach. You're super limited. Think about what you wear to the beach. You wear like a basic ass bathing
There's
suit.
not like a wear, like there's not like a go-to like.
But like think about if you wanted to wear like a bomber to the beach, or like have some like any like you want to wear like. I'm not gonna say too much without giving away. Like we have a crazy reveal coming, but like.
It makes sense, and now you got why you guys connected with Dash Radio then. Beach. I don't know if that was like planned or why, but you're playing music at the beach, kind of goes hand in hand with the brand. Or
Ski approached Ryan to do to get him on board to do like some Playboy radio stuff for Dash Radio, because Playboy recently left Sirius to go to Dash.
Oh, okay.
Now like all of Playboy radio shit is on Dash, so like they were joking about like him doing some stuff on there. And I had this whole there was a whole branding thing behind Island of ChaCha already. Like we had a whole line and like just like it was just another aspect of it. So I went and took the meeting with Ryan with Ski, and I walked out of it and I was like, yo man, like let's just play like good vibe music, like all kinds, just shit that makes everyone feel good. Call it the Island of ChaCha. Play wave sounds. Have fucking all of our celebrity friends do little drops. Have no one talk, just music, other than the artists, with little wave vibe sounds, going on. And that's what it is. That's it. Like you don't hear our voices. It's not about us. It's not about the clothes. It's just like if you know. Like, and there are more activations that are gonna like put together. People will associate the brand with the radio station, but they're separate. And like, it's not essential for you to like know one or the other, because like not everyone can buy a $235 hoodie, but you can listen to Dash. You can download the Dash Radio app and listen to it for free and feel great. Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah,
I think it's important too, just for brands to find like other mediums to kind of stay connected with their customers, or to just, I don't know. I think you need to do that. Like there's so much noise in the industry. No matter what you're doing in this world, whether it's selling clothes or providing a service, like you need to find other ways to reach your customers and kind of like build that somewhat of a relationship with them. We've talked about it quite a bit. Even before this podcast, we've talked a lot about just big things that have happened kind of over the last couple of years. I mean, You've toured quite a bit. I'll never forget that picture I saw of Kanye handing a pair of sneakers to you. You've done a lot of things. What are the top 3 that just popped to your head right now that have been, for you, just like, damn, like did this shit just really happen?
Work or like life experiences? Or both?
However you want to answer it. It could be a mix of both, or it could be...
Like,
It doesn't have to be like a specific, like, this was the day. It could be like a generalized. I know top 3 is like definitely, this is a very broad question, but I'm just curious as to what kind of jumps to your head at first.
It's just hard because, like, business and, like, personal are 2 very different things for me. Like, if you ask me my top 3 business things, they would be, like, things that, like, elevated my career or, like, made, like, things like bucket list things, like releasing a Nike shoe. And, like, that would be, like, for business, that would be, like, dropping a fucking Nike shoe is, like, that's number 1. Like, business-wise, like, designing it from scratch, like, dealing with the whole manufacturing process, fucking going through all these different back ends and fucking making it come to life. And actually, like, that's why we're in Boston right now, is to, you know, release a shoe on Friday.
Yeah.
Like, that's definitely, like, a cool, like, that's probably top 1. That's number 1. These are beat up as fuck.
That's so fire, dude.
But I've been wearing these. This is the first. We had 2 samples made off the bat.
Yeah.
Me and Mike are both size 12, so, like, I took one and he took
Of course,
the other,
right?
and I haven't taken them off. I got a couple pairs at the house that I just have on ice, but I'm wearing these until they fall apart.
Damn, man. And this ain't like, oh, we bought some Air Forces and we went and then got them, like, done by somebody else. This is right through the actual distributor.
It's through some official back ends.
Wow.
Nike will never say anything. But I'll tell you, we did not go and buy shoes.
we didn't go to Finish Line and just buy these and then start making our own, like, actual things.
I love Finish Line.
Yeah. Finish Line. I just had this, like, epiphany. That's the last time I saw you, bro.
Me?
In person. Was like 4 or 5 years ago at the Holyoke Mall. I used to work at Finish Line.
Whoa.
I think that's literally. I was talking
That's
earlier.
crazy.
I was, like, trying to think of the last time I had seen you, actually in person, and that was it, bro. I sold you a pair of Nike Roshi Runs, I think.
That's amazing. Yeah, my buddy.
Shout out to Finish Line.
I'm good friends with, like,
Shout out to Billy.
Yeah, one of the main dudes over there, Brandon Edler. He's like the main dude.
Okay.
That's my guy. I love him. He's the only person for Finish Line corporate that works remote. He lives in LA.
So he's balling.
He's like,
he knows what he's doing.
I
man.
love him.
If he's
Like,
working remotely, he knows what the fuck going on. He knows what he's doing.
he's a great guy. It was his birthday yesterday. Happy belated.
I hope you texted him.
I did.
You did?
My response was, happy birthday. I'm on my way to Boston to sell these shoes. I'll give you a birthday present when I get back.
I'm sure he appreciates that. You got a tattoo on your forearm that says, do something today to make tomorrow better.
Yeah.
Why'd you get a tattoo on your forearm? And why'd you get that tattoo?
It was at a point in my life where I really needed to, like, get my shit together. This was like a fucking very mild way of, like, me being like, I need, like, a constant reminder to, like, put the work in. Like, that's putting the work in. Like, do something. Like, it could be an array of things. It could be, like, going to the gym. It could be making a couple calls. It could be anything that, like, has the slightest effect on making tomorrow better. Do it. Like, as if you're not, like, going forward, you're going backwards. And I had that realization. Like, I self-tatted "Get Help" on my right leg. Like,
Self-tatted yourself.
Yeah.
Wow.
But, like, I mean, there's, like, a crazy story behind it. I can't go into it. But, yeah, just, like, I mean, there's been times in my life I was, like, in a place where I just, like, needed to, like, you should probably, like, remind yourself, you know? So, like, I mean, I was saying this to myself for a little while, and then I tweeted it, and it went so ham on Twitter. And it was just like, I was living on, like, Sunset Boulevard with Mike and everyone.
Yep.
We moved out of that house recently.
Rest in peace to that house.
Yeah. That was a good time. But we lived directly across the street from, like, a tattoo shop. So, like, man, any rough idea I had, Go
Pull
up
the
there.
trig. Pull the trig.
$80 minimum. Boom. Like my God,
Slap
they
it
loved
on.
me up there.
Slap it on.
Right. I mean,
I mean, that's what tattoos are for. I don't have anything, but that's what everyone says. It's to be the reminder for whatever it's actually representing.
yeah, all my shit has meaning, like, except for the ones that are like matching tattoos. But there's like every tattoo I have has like a moment attached to it in my life. Like it's represents like a time or a period or like a single day. Every single one.
Yeah.
Like I have the fucking date I dropped out of 6th grade tattooed on my arm. Like, no, like who's ever gonna look at that and be like, "That's the day he dropped out of
Nah.
that's the day he dropped out of 6th grade." You know what I mean? Like everything. Like I got my parents' handwriting. Like I got shit everywhere. I'm getting fucking like 6 of them done tonight.
I was gonna say, by the time this airs, you're gonna have like a whole like arm
yeah,
redone and.
By the time this airs, there's gonna be a few Instagram photos.
So people are gonna have to peep it. People are gonna have to peep it.
Yeah.
What scares you the most?
Failure.
Failure.
Like. Yeah, failure.
Are you scared to fail yourself? Or are you scared to let
No,
other people down?
Other people, like my family.
What motivates you then? Family. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, that even through a lot of different times, no matter what people go through, no matter, you could have the best moments in your life, you could have the worst moments, you could get a $10 million check today, but that shit is not gonna matter if you don't have the people around you.
Yeah, like they just sacrificed so much for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I just want to like good. Yep. Like my goal is always to retire. Like when anytime anyone ever asks me like what's your end goal, it's always since I was young was like to retire. And it started as a joke, but now it's like I enjoy working. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna work as long as I want to work and enjoy doing what I do. And I might change what I do. Who knows where I end up? Like I could be, you know what I mean? Shep Gordon, fucking
Yeah. Living on an island.
dude. Like go look it up. He's like homies with Dalai Lama. Like just like
He's
yak
doing
milk. You know what I mean?
He's
Just
doing it.
Yak milk. Like there's just like so many layers to shit, and like I don't ever set goals for myself. Like it's just I know that has to get better. Like that's it. It just always has to be a progression, and I have to be happy. I have to have a passion about what I'm doing, but it all ties into like that. I know that's what's gonna push it all forward.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, it's fucking, get a boat for my parents and get an island for myself and.
The island.
You know,
the
have a
island is
party.
the movement. The island is the movement.
Yeah, I was like looking into legalities the other day. Like, if you get your own island, I can lean forward. We're wrapping this up shortly, right?
Close,
Cool.
yep.
If you get your own island, depends on where it is. You can actually set your own laws.
Completely.
Like,
It makes sense though.
Like,
I mean, you own an island.
yeah,
Like, you can do whatever the hell you want.
it's complicated. You got to like file to be like your own thing, and it's like it's complicated. That's not why I want to get my own island, because I can fucking break the law. If you have your own island, there's no one to enforce the law.
Yeah.
Unless you put them there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I just want my own island for fun.
That's
I think
badass.
like I want everyone there. Like if you look at Richard Branson's shit, it's like a massive island. He's got his shit at one end, and then he's got like a place that it's either his guest house or you can rent it online. Like it's where the Obamas just were on vacation.
Yeah, that's
like,
baller.
Yeah. And then Zuckerberg has an island right next to it. And then on the other side, Richard Branson has another island
Wow.
that he's building on right now. And it's like they're not that expensive. Like, I mean, like perspective, like you can get like a good island in like the British Virgin Islands for like 7 to 10 million, and then you got to build on it for another 10 to 20. But it's like if you make $100 million and you don't have your own island, fuck
What
are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
You can call you make your own rules, like, yeah. Like, you should
Right.
buy your own island if you have $100 million in the bank.
that's what I'm saying. So it's like, those kinds of goals.
It's gonna happen.
Right.
I hope I get a postcard with the little invite of the party happening because I want to come through for this. I'll bring-
Hopefully, like transportation is like really advanced by then.
Yeah, there's gonna be like Uber, like plane, like, or yeah, like not even. You're just gonna like Elon Musk's gonna have the underground like
That's- I was just
Teslas
about to
and
say that.
yeah, I know, bro, I know. He's unreal.
Yeah, he's the best.
He's unreal. So this is the point. Before we get into the closing questions, I reverse the role. I allow my guests to ask me any one question. It could be about something we talked about, something you want to directly ask me, anything you want to know about me, any one question.
So you said I can't ask you about the podcast, right? No podcast. What do you want to do after? What do you want to do? Without say there's no podcast. What's your goal?
There's no.
Because like you're not, what I mean, like
Yeah.
podcast, like it's your stepping stone.
Yeah, it is.
Like it's gonna be cool. It's you're gonna get it to the point, but then it's someday you're gonna be like, oh, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And it's gonna be for like a bunch of different reasons. It's not because you don't like doing it anymore, or maybe it will be, but you're gonna want to do something else at some point. Like
Yeah.
what's your island?
I never really thought about it like that. I've always liked having a voice for the right reason, or just, I don't know, even kind of why the podcast started. Like, just, I've never been afraid to like put myself out there and not really care like what people thought, whether, no matter what I was talking about or just who I am, or I'll be on Instagram just like telling the honest truth about what I'm doing with my life, or I'll do this and do that. Like, I've always been somebody who just is confident in my own skin. I don't want to say acting. I don't want to say like, modeling. I just want to continue to push myself to do things that seem impossible right now, and then be able to check it off the list and be like, all right, I did this. Like, I dreamed of doing this and I did it. But I also want to have like some type of platform to be able to like speak to people, to inspire people, to motivate people, to show them like the path that I've gone, that I was the kid who went completely left when all his buddies from college were going to the right. Like, I've always, like, I feel like throughout my life, I've always chose the unconditional way of doing things, or it didn't make sense that just the way I operated, the way I've grown into the person I am today. Sometimes I feel like I'm like crazy. I'm like not human in the sense of like just the way I think and the way I want to get things done. And I want to work. I just want to work.
Tell me twice.
Yeah, no, I know you get it, but it's just like I always want to work. I always want to advance myself. I don't want to say I'll get into radio, but maybe one day that would be something. I never even thought about like I would have something like this where I could talk about the way I'm feeling or the way I'm going through life. Like, it's become so much of these episodes have become people, like their stories, but it's so much has become part of mine because I'm learning things along the way. But I really don't know, and I'm not mad that I don't know what's next after this, because
Right,
I feel like that's the key. Like,
I don't know what's between here and the island.
Yeah.
But that's life. Like,
Yeah.
put in perspective, I took a picture with Ryan like 5 years ago. Like, outside of a fucking Drake pop-up shop. Like, my first time ever in Los Angeles. We got a fucking clothing line together. Like,
Yeah.
I took shrooms for the first time at Drake's house. Like, life's fucking very different. Like, and I feel the same, and it's all about just rolling with the punches. Like, if you put the work and you continue to fucking go at it, you're gonna get wherever you want to go. Like, you might not know where you want to, like, where it is that you want to go, but you're gonna get there. Just keep your head down, keep working. Fucking get there.
Yeah. I want you to imagine, this is the closing questions, imagine there's a picture frame on the wall 10 years from now. And you already kind of answered it, but this is like a question I always ask. Yeah, so I have to stay true. 10 years from now, picture frame on the wall. What and who do we see within that picture frame? And and it's you definitely in it. But what is the picture of, and who's around you?
I got my arm around Shep Gordon and my arm around Richard Branson with a J in both of their mouths.
On the island, right? On the island.
On my island.
On your island.
On
See,
my island. Yes.
We already kind of pieced this together throughout the podcast, but I have to ask the question. Like, I have to ask the question.
We love it.
Where can people find you on social media if they don't already know where you are or who you are?
It's BYFOLEY on everything. By Foley.
By Foley. Yeah. And for the ChaCha, where can we find the...
It's all ChaCha The Wave. CHA.
And then it's just Shop by Foley for your actual products, correct?
What'd you say? Shop
by Foley for just your actual products or no?
Oh, my stuff, it's all by Foley. Everything.
Always by Foley. Okay.
.com and all. Oh, I guess like there's a clothing Instagram page, but all the website stuff, like if you want to buy it, it's all by Foley.
Byfoley.com.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question. What 2 to 3 pieces of advice would you give to somebody who is trying to find their passion, trying to find their purpose, hasn't necessarily found it, and is in the mix of trying to grasp what it is that they're pretty much on this world to do? What would you say they do?
Keep working. Take constructive criticism. Take constructive criticism. Wow, that was terrible.
Sorry, tongue twister.
No, but that's super important. If you're working with someone who's already in the industry and they have it in them to tell you something wrong about what you're doing, instead of just big leaguing you and completely writing you off, like if they take the time out of their day to like critique something that you're doing, take that as like they care. That they could, there's a million other people that could do your job. There's a million people that could, not a million, but there's a lot of people that could do my job. And like, it's very important to take what people say and like build off of it, because chances are they could replace you if they didn't care about you, like easily. Like, I can't tell you how many times that like I've seen people just act the wrong way and then just get blacklisted. And instead of someone being like, yo, this is what you're doing wrong, so you have a chance to fix it, and like show that like if you really like, you know, want to be a part of something, and like you'll change something about the way you're acting or like your behavior. Like, I've changed as a person to grow. Like, that's how that's what growing is. You change. Like, you have to. And if people actually take the time out of their day, successful people that know what the fuck they're talking about, take the time out of their day to critique what you're doing, instead of writing you off, learn from it. Like, they're the ones that know.
Yeah. It's the key.
And am I missing a third one?
No, that seems like 2. If you got any last gem, though, you can drop it.
Do something today to make tomorrow better.
Amazing. Foley, thank you for coming on the podcast, my man. We'll catch you guys next time.
We love it.
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Bobbbaaaay. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to my YouTube channel right here in the button below. Subscribe, as well as leave a 1 to 2 sentence review in the comment section below. We'll catch you guys next time.